through. Can we have a look at gold and silver?
Yes, of course. We delete all these. Yeah,
These are all my the world's ending savages that I've been.
I'll let you in on a secret. A good friend of mine here. He's director for Standard Chartered Bank. I won't say in what part of the world because then you'll know who he is, or you can Google him. But this guy, I mean, he represents the establishment more than probably any other person that I know who works within finance. And this guy, he's hodling gold and silver coins. He's not buying it on a price chart. He has mass quantities of physical gold.
Yeah, do you know something as well? The other day, it was quite ironic as well. There was the BBC ran a. Sorry to interrupt, by the way. There was
please.
The BBC ran what they considered a rare insight into the Bank of England's gold vaults. They've obviously been replenishing since Gordon Brown gave away all of the gold. But the irony was that the lady was quite highly ranked within the BOE, and she's there going, oh yeah, it's a store value and currency is more volatile, and it's as if just like blatantly saying we'll give you worthless paper and we'll keep printing it, and meanwhile we sit on a ton of gold. It was just the irony was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very worrying.
Very worrying. Yeah.
Also, I mean, these strikes in Iraq. I don't know if you guys. Something that really shook me was during during political disputes, international dispute. You'll often see the dollar rally. These strikes in Iraq when they killed the leader of the U.S., the dollar didn't do anything that much, but gold did. And so, I mean, the dollar is not being considered safe haven for the time being, but gold is, and I find that really worrying because an asset that everyone has gone to for security, people aren't really considering secure.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on. Look at the S&P. Yeah, there's a lot of evidence to support that something really off is happening.
Yeah, there is, and the debt is a huge problem as well. Even Powell last night was commenting on he's worried about the size of the U.S. debt.
I know, and I mean they're giving money away, so people are loaning more and more debt. People are growing their companies on the backs of loaned money at the end of a 9-10 year business cycle.
Yeah,
and the pension funds in the U.S. How do they get returns?
Yeah, well, where they invest
exactly in corporations. So when the bubble pops, there are going to be no pensions for these people, which is very, very worrying.
Yeah, and that's the bubble, right? It's always look around. Where's the bubble? And that is where it's at. And but I say the beauty because obviously it's never great, but there's the information we now have available to ourselves is such that we can read a few of these things ahead of time and position ourselves in case it does happen. Well, it's not a question of if it will, because obviously it's cyclical, it's part of the system. But yeah, I think we're definitely looking at an interesting moment. And the even more interesting thing this time around is that the central banks have no bullets left. It's like, where are they going to go?
I know. But I mean, the Fed, continuing to cut rates. I mean, that's almost the worst thing they can do to slow things down. It's very weird.
Yeah, it is a dichotomy. Very strange. Last time round, helicopter money was spoke about, and people are like, helicopter money, no. And there has been historical precedents. That has happened before. Where a central bank prints money and gives it to the people, like just to spend. It's so insane. It's ridiculous that you got a central bank hoarding gold while the rest of us are being told to spend and have worthless paper in return. It's madness. But
it is. It's worrying.
But that's another conversation for another day. So
if we have a look at gold here, prices. So if we have a look in this candle here, kind of cut away, close below these. So this was the beginning of the sell zone. Now it's been removed. And so we need to find the new one. So the new one is going to be up here. You can see the high of the one that left. This is where price currently is. So it might be an interesting place to sell gold, but I'd be worried selling gold because that's kind of the only thing that has kind of value at the moment. And so selling that wouldn't be a good idea, although you're going to get some pretty handsome swaps holding short gold positions. But above that, I mean, we have this big area just here that looks like that. And inside that, there's going to be some clearer areas. Yeah, I mean, you can see it a lot clearer here where, I mean, this one's being tested, but notice also that the slingshot was already here. Already here, so let's see if it came to it. Now, we're not quite there yet, so we're probably going to continue to go higher until we move above, at least to the highs here. And then we have this here, which I don't like very much because price has already traded a lot here, and so this is not very pretty. And so I mean the thing that jumps out of my eyes is this here, test. And so look higher. This has been tested, and we have this here. This is the one that cut away. And so for me, I mean the no-brainer would be to sell. I'll be looking to do something around that area there. So this is the monthly chart. This is the weekly chart. So that might be quite interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on that. And probably a lot of stop hunts going there, kind of price kind of digging deeper, advertising higher prices, trying to onboard some people who are certain that gold's going to continue to go higher. And I mean, longer term, I think gold's going to continue to go higher, but it can't continue to go higher without first going lower. And so we're going to have some pullbacks because, I mean, it has to do that. Yeah, so I think that might be kind of interesting. It's pretty long term. I like going to the longer term charts and slow things down a little bit. Okay, can you, yeah, so just reading a comment here. Okay, so the pancake zone, I'll do that. Let's do something else. Let's do like the CAD yen or something. So let's have a look at here. So the way I'm drawing these, a lot of supply and demand guys are going to talk about this proximal and the distal line, but they don't consider kind of the slingshot stuff that we talk about, which is essentially the pancake thingy, the metaphor that I like to use. And if we look at this, this is a really beautiful example where we have price rallying, we distribute for 1 week, and then we leave. Okay, when I look at this, I think standard supply and demand theory will tell you to draw it like that. Again, there's nothing wrong with doing that. That's normal practice. But if you use the pancake metaphor, I mean, the first pancake has been taken already. And so you could probably get a bit of a better price and save a handful of pips, as price would probably want to go a little bit deeper and seek the liquidity, which is going to be beyond the slingshot pullback point in here. Okay, so if let's say we have something that's really ugly and really messy. Okay, let's look at this one here. This is nice and chunky and complicated. Okay, so what you want to do here in a situation like this, you want to first of all find out which of these accumulation candles are related. And so you ask yourself the question, is the body, first of all, you find the candle that left, okay? Then you kind of mark that off like that, okay? And then you go back and you say, okay, is the body of this candle within the range of the previous? And I want to know that because if you have closes beyond the highs and lows of previous candles, well, then there's going to be like continuation patterns or stuff like that. So you want there to be a link between these areas. Excuse me. Okay, so this one in the open of this candle is below that. So these two are not linked together. Excuse me. Okay, but these three are. And so we have this one here. This candle is a little bit deeper. So price move. Oh dear, got a bug somewhere. Right, Mark, take over. I'm going to cough my lungs up. Take a minute.
Okay, mate, no worries.
All right, there we are. Good Lord. Yeah. Okay. So if you have one like this, we have this candle and we have this candle closed above. I mean, almost all of these, certainly this one, which is the one that's the most recent since this. And so you want to look at where the slingshot was pulled back to, which is here. We mark it off like that. So the first pancake is at 79.20, not here. And the reason this is the case, at least for how I like to do it, is because, I mean, within here, price has done this. Price came down, it moved sideways, it moved up, then price moved down into pancakes. It's eating pancakes, it's taking away pancakes from this plate. And only at this point here did it turn around. It didn't turn around here, it turned around here. And so those pancakes are going to be deeper. Okay, and so this is why I'll do this. Okay, and if we have a look at this one here, if you have a look at something like this, when I see something like this, I'll normally initially draw it like that. You can see this one and this one are not related because the body of this candle is not within range of the previous. So I'll go from here to here. And then I'll go on a smaller time frame and I'll have a look inside. And this is where you can see all those continuation patterns. Okay, so let's find, okay, so this one, this kind of, there was a gap down. This is in the range of the previous, so these two are related. This one, the close is down here. Okay, and so we had, I mean, the highest retracement since this is here. Okay, it happened here, and it went up. And that's where it came into. We had to go a little bit deeper to find, this is like a hungry seller. And then this is where price turned around. Okay, but now this has been tested. So that means that we don't want to sell again at that area. We want to look higher. You see this candle here, this is a distribution candle. So I wouldn't look at it on this time frame, but you can certainly see that, I mean, this candle closed below that one. So the high is going to be in here. And we'll just go like this, just to have a look inside. Like that. And then you can see, this is really interesting because we had this area here. Okay, it's tested, price came down, we sat on it, we left, we cut through it. Which one consumed this demand? This supplied it. So you go like this. Right there. That's the supply. The beginning of the sell zone is there because the slingshot was pulled back to there. So, but you can't see that clarity if you're on the weekly chart. If you're on the daily, it doesn't really make sense, but it makes perfect sense on the 4-hour chart, like we just saw. But you can see, here's a slingshot. The body of this one is not within range of the previous, blah, blah, blah. So you can almost always find it on whatever time frame you're looking at, but always start from the monthly and work down to the daily. I think you'll be doing very, very good.
Can I just interject there, mate, if you don't mind?
Please, of course.
Yeah. So we've also got sorry, I can't draw anything, but you see where you put that top perforated line?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. So if you made like a little zone out of that, if you don't mind, if you've got a little rectangle indicator and you just put it across those highs.
Just like this one here.
Yes, mate. Oh, you can do. There's the one.
This one?
Off to the left, mate. Just zoom out a little.
This one here.
No, the off to the left. So zoom out a touch. And if you grab a rectangle indicator at the top there, that's the fella. And then if you go straight down, whoa, left, stop. And then drag it right from that point. We've got a stop on, right? So drag it up. There you go. Look. So now,
yeah, totally.
so in the context of how we can become more accurate trading stop-ons, is what is basically laying out is that potential within that particular situation.
definitely. And you can see that push advertising higher prices we have. This is a scary candle. If you're selling here and this prints, you're a bit like, oh my God, we closed above the accumulation. I'm going to get out of the trade. Yeah, but it's just price seeking liquidity to do what? To move lower. We didn't really do anything, but sometimes you'll get this right into your level, into your sell, and you'll see this. And it's kind of makes me nervous. And it also makes me reconsider the trade because we form demand close to where we'll be selling. And so this is maybe one of those situations where you don't want to take the short. I think supply and demand and pancake trading is really it marries very beautifully with stop hunts, because stop hunts are happening at these levels all day long.
All the time, yeah. So now, for instance, you've got the stop hunt at the absolute highs, right? And then you've got two opportunities, as I see, is to use this information to become more accurate to get short within that top box where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you choose to wait, if you prefer to gain the information off to the left, then to the right of the chart, there's levels where you can pull the trigger. So this is like, it's almost like Fibonacci on steroids, right? It's like, so for that to try and enter at that moment, it's obviously hugely beneficial.
Yeah, and this is probably a 62. If you look at that, it's probably a 62.
Yeah, as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Just for kicks.
That's weird that happens, by the way, isn't it? Yeah, but it does happen. They overlap nicely. And look at this one up here. You could, in this candle, close below that one, and it went all the way up here before it left. And so we have this as well inside, which is beautiful because then you can put your stop way up here.
Yeah, exactly. That's
where
what
price has not been.
Do you mind if I take over the chat and just
please
talk through this? Because I think can you see my mouse moving? Yeah,
I can. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So maybe we can do this together. So if you grab a rectangle and make it like a full thing rather than just a So if you can make it like a full solid color, that'll do. Yeah. Cool. So we've got price leaves an area, comes back. We've got what we would describe in the center here as entry cheese, right? Loads of people going short off that level to the left. You got to remember that a lot of people don't distinguish between a good level and a bad level. They're just looking at turning points. And let's say you want to be short the ZX, you've got some fundamental bias, etc. People are going short, piling in short here. All the stops are above this level. So then you get the stop on, breakout traders go long, retracement traders go long within that wick. Bear in mind, this is a daily. They go long, again, they get nailed, price breaks. And now, once we've seen what's happened off to the left, now we can use what Sarid so diligently explained to get an accurate entry off to the left in here. Likewise, we can use that to potentially take the trades off to the left inside the stop hunt in and of itself, because that's one of the challenges with trading in here. Everyone wants to do it because it's it's considered low risk. The problem is, do you know if it's a stop hunt or is it actually breaking out, right? And partly that's to do with it having a fundamental bias, but to have confidence in that understanding. But it's still, you're not 100% certain. Over here you are, because off to the left you can understand the order flow and what's happened and what's unfolding. Just because that's happened, and I want to make this clear, when a stop hunt happens like that, people somehow come to the conclusion that the stop, like, that's the end of the trade. That's the beginning of the trade, right? It's like, if it's right, if it's legit, it can move massive amounts from that point. So off to the right, it's just a question of, okay, I can understand what's happened here. I just need to understand how to pull the trigger. That's my only challenge at that point. But I understand as well, at the same time, people are trying to like pinch off tight entries. And I think what you're sharing is brilliant to try and become more accurate in that. Even if you wait, fine. If you want to get in earlier, fine. This kind of solves both of those problems. Back to you, mate.
Yeah. Um, cool. Is there any other questions that you guys fancy going over?
Gold was one.
Gold. Yeah, we did gold.
Oh, we did gold. Okay. Anything else, guys?
Briefly.
Oh, there's was it the Aussie dollar?
Aussie dollar.
Yeah, maybe the Aussie dollar in the 4 hour. Where? Right. Yeah. So actually, there's two. So we'll probably just do these two and then round things up if that's all right with you, mate. Right. So, am I still in charge of the screen, or have you took it back? You see that stop on in the middle?
There you are. So you.
Okay. So if we can draw a level off to the left there.
Up here, around here?
A bit low, mate. Down in here.
Oh, yeah. Whack one in there.
So, support, resistance.
Grab the mouse and...
This is just a perfect example of what I've been yapping on about. If you drag that right, there you go. So you have this massive, what I would refer to as an iceberg type order-esque, but you see how the potential is to get involved in that high. If you look left, would that be one of those scenarios where would you class that as supply and you could get in up here as opposed to down in here?
If you look over here, zoom in a little bit. I mean, that's a pretty illiquid move there. I'd be nervous kind of. In here would be interesting because we have that nice cutaway. So like at around this point here, where we have a white candle telling us we have distribution. We cut away. This one closed below, so we have two in here, there, and there. So we can just box that whole area off. We'll go like that. We'll just do it from the first one, which is right there. We have that, and then above that.
That's the top one I'm interested in.
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
If you look at this, I mean, this candle closed below this one, and this one closed below that one. So you could mark it off like this.
Bang. There you go.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Really close to it.
Yeah, there you go. Right. It's like that's what I'm talking about because what I normally advocate is waiting for the beginnings of the stop hunt to occur, so then you can look left and understand what's happened. But that's an example of where you could pinch off the high or the low.
That's really that's a beauty.
Yeah.
But this is like this is a really good example of price kind of coming back, kind of going a little bit deeper in like more pancakes, a little bit deeper, and then we're and there's nothing in here. This is liquidity void. There's no buying or selling here, so price just tears through it really quickly, and this is where we turn. Okay, and so when you find those pauses in price, I mean, my candles, these are white, but they're just like doji spinning tops. I mean, it should bring your eye to these because these are really important because this is where we have liquidity being distributed. So we're having a builder. We're starting to load the cannon at this price point to sell. At this price point to sell.
Love it. Super cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything as well? Because I'm spotting it, but I'm not going to say anything. So if we go right of where that last yellow dot is on the right hand side of the chart.
This one, yeah.
So this is where I tend to enter. That's always been my way to allow what's happened off to the left to occur. But there's actually an opportunity there as well, isn't there? To show.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at this, let's remove this one here. Okay, so if you have a look at this, we have this one here, and this is actually a reaction to this. So we have a parent-child relationship.
That's it. That's the one.
So I'd go like that. We haven't quite got there yet, which is good. The price came pretty close, and then we left. But below that, we still have these other areas that are still not in balance. I mean, this one closed outside of that one. So we had one. I'll just use a rectangle. So we had one here. We went really deep into it. So price is going to go through that next time. And then we have this one here that closed outside the range of that one. So we have this one here, which is also a little bit interesting. And above that, this one closed outside of the range of that. We have this one here, which I think is better, which is like that. Okay, but if you look at that, I mean, price has already been pretty deep into that area, and so I'd be pretty keen on looking deeper. This one's nice. We're probably, yeah, when I see this, like a lot of trading around, I mean, this is kind of like a really hungry person eating a whole lot of pancakes. We're kind of thinning things out. When you have like price going up and then coming down, then coming up, when spiking up like that, then we're removing pancakes that we need to feed ourselves.
Yeah, so you have like a slingshot in there, don't you? Which would have been an opportunity short in that. Yeah.
Yeah, this one here, and then we have another one here. Yeah. Right here. So if you look at this one closed outside, the high of it is here, and the high of the area is there. So it worked out. I don't know if we would have got filled, but it came pretty close, and then it kind of left from there. So that was a slingshot. It's been tested, so we'll probably, again, we have kind of a parent area, and we have a kind of a couple of siblings here. So price will move through these. These are also very wicky, which means there's a lot of trading. There's a lot of consuming liquidity on both sides up here, and so I think price will move through that easy.
On the way back up, yeah.
Yeah.
So got a question. Like, could you explore a little bit more about the parent-child relationship, just to a bit more detail on that?
Of course. I mean, the reason I use parent-child is just because I wanted people to understand there's a relationship between these areas. Okay, and it's pretty simple. I mean, an area of parent supply or demand has been established independent of any other area. So this is fresh liquidity entering the market to either buy or to sell. Children, they are established as a result of price moving to a parent supply or demand. And we have this one here. This here was interesting because we came down, we distributed, we moved down, we came close to these lows here, and we came back up, and then we left. So this one here, I mean, this is the parent number one. Why? Because it consumed this parent demand. And this is demand because we managed to trade above these highs. Again, we need to find a way to identify strength in the market. This is strong because we traded above these highs. This is strong because we traded, we consumed the bullish liquidity here that was strong enough to close above these highs here. So this is a strong area of supply here. And this is a reaction to this one here. And so this is the child and this is the parent. But you can also see if you go down and you kind of, is the body of this within the range of the previous, blah, blah, blah. If you do that, you'll see that there are a few children in here. And so children, you know, as the saying goes, like with kids, you know, if you ask a kid, what really happened, you know, and the kid will give you some kind of a fibby story. And then you go to the other kid, what really happened? They'll give you another fibby story. And so often you maybe go to the parent. Maybe the parent will tell you the truth. What happened was that this actually happened, you know. So parents are slightly more reliable than children. I mean, most parents, at least.
Yeah, most parents, yeah. Another question, probably a bit late to ask, says Cameron, but are you struggling with the idea of, is the candle within the range of the previous candle? Like, what's the significance of that?
Yeah, this is really important to assess whether or not we have micro parents and children. So if you look at this, the fact that this one closed below the low of this candle here, that means that this candle is not related to these. I mean, the body of this is in the range of this. The body of this is in the range of this. This candle closed below that one. So this is just telling us we have a continuation pattern from this area of supply. We left, distributed, we left. And so when you see something like that, it just tells you where the strength originated from. This one closed below that. Why? Because there's strength in this candle, and that strength originated from here. This candle closed below this distribution, which exhibits strength, and the move originated from here. This one closed below this, and the move down originated from here. And so you can mark off these areas, and we have a bunch of children in here. We have this one. we have this one, and we have this one. So we have a bunch of children in there. So we have 3 children. So this is a parent with 3 kids, and this is where the children are located. This is the older, the medium, and the younger one. And the younger ones, price tends to move through them. The ones that are closer to price, it normally goes through them quickly. Cameron, are you sitting in the cockpit of a helicopter or something? Or are you in your car?
You got lots of noise going through.
It's cool, isn't it?
Oh God, I can hear that. Why is that happening? That's bizarre.
Cool. Looks cool, man.
Another question. Is this purely how you trade, or do you consider fundamentals, etc.?
I wish I could consider fundamentals. I wish I was clever enough to say that I consider fundamentals, but I don't know enough about fundamentals to incorporate it in my trading. I understand interest rates, I understand inflation, CPI. I mean, I understand the basics, but not enough for me to base trading decisions, which is why I try not to use it that much. And so, I'll have a look at institutional research that some of the banks that I know in Denmark publish, and my bank. I'll read it, and they talk about stuff, and I understand it, but I don't understand it enough maybe to base like solid trading decisions. So this is why I kind of dumb it down for myself, and I translate the tech stuff into currency strength, which is showing me kind of a similar picture.
Right. So in a way, by proxy, all that analysis fundamentally has already been done, and you're just using that as a tool because.
Yes.
Right. Okay, cool.
And it's visual, and it's not the fundamentals. I mean, you have to read a lot of like information, and you have to maybe draw conclusions, and I don't know enough about it to draw those conclusions.
Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. All right. So, got another question here. How are you identifying those child candles? Is it purely down to having big wicks and small bodies? Ask Sandy.
Sandy, good question. Well, the children, I know that this is a child because it poked into this one, and I know this is a child because it poked into this one. And so if you identify an area, you have to look up and left or down and left to see if it has touched an area just prior to it. And I can see this one touched this one touched this one touched this one didn't touch anyone. This is kind of selling, distribution, selling. And so this is a parent, this is a child. So I know that these two are established. This is established as a result of this a result of this, and this a result of this independent. And so, yeah, it's quite simple, actually. Does that answer your question, Sandy? Or did I just confuse you even more? I think the most important thing is you have to keep it super, super simple. You have to be able to, I can explain this stuff to my wife. If I explain it to my wife and she doesn't get it, I've done a pretty poor job of explaining it to her. And so I want to be able to explain it to someone so that they get it. Oh, okay, that's simple. Like my son, he gets this as well. I explain this to my 12-year-old, and he's like, yeah, okay, I understand that. And I say, okay, then it's simple enough for me to use.
Yeah, it's like ask your child, is that going up or going down?
That's right.
Pretty clear answer. What else we got coming in here? We've got a couple more, and then we'll wrap this up. Bruce, how do you know when to buy or sell? If we all knew that, mate. Andy, hi Mark, is there time to go over bull range and bear range that Sally talked about, and how is that done? I'm not sure if that's very clear, but
a bull range and not exactly don't understand the question.
I didn't get that either. Sorry, by the way, but it's just not that clear. Well, to be honest, I think we're pretty much done. I don't know if we want to have like let's see if I can unmute some people on a bit of a love fest here. For some reason, it's not unmuting all people, but mate, thank you so much for that session.
Thanks so much for having me. Absolute pleasure.
So cool. And if you guys, would like to join me in thanking Saeed for a very
thanks so much.
Long session.
Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks guys. Very interesting. Mate.
Super. We can definitely